There's a quiet power that most men never understand, and it's hidden in the moments when you stop explaining yourself. Not arguing, not defending, not begging for understanding. Most men spend their lives trying to prove themselves to women. They text too much, they explain too much, they defend intentions that shouldn't need defending, and in doing so, they lose the very thing they wanted most: respect. History is full of men who understood this principle long before it became a relationship tip. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor of Rome, never needed the approval of the Senate to be virtuous. His confidence didn't scream, it simply existed. And in that quiet confidence, people naturally followed him. The same principle applies in relationships. When you stop seeking validation, something shifts. She starts noticing the calm strength in you. She starts respecting your boundaries. She starts wondering about the man you truly are. Today we'll explore the hidden mechanics of this shift. By the end of this video, you'll understand why stopping validation seeking is not arrogance, it's mastery, and how it transforms the way she sees you. Chapter 1. The Trap of Seeking Validation. Most men don't realize it, but there's a trap that destroys attraction before it even begins. A trap so subtle that we don't notice we're falling in it. It's called the validation trap, and it's as old as human connection itself. When a man constantly seeks approval from a woman, he hands over his confidence, his authority, and his emotional control. Every time you explain yourself, every time you justify your actions, every time you text long paragraphs trying to be understood, you are saying, "I'm not enough on my own. Please, let me prove myself to you." And here's the harsh truth. She doesn't respect it. She may feel sympathy, she may feel frustrated, she may even pull away, but still, because no one is attracted to a man who begs for approval. Attraction doesn't live in explanations. It lives in presence, in certainty, in quiet authority. Psychologically, humans value stability and emotional security. When a man seeks validation, he communicates instability. He communicates emotional uncertainty. And in that uncertainty, attraction fades. Consider Marcus Aurelius again. In his journal, he never asked Rome for validation. He never sought applause for his decisions. He focused on what he could control: his own thoughts, his own actions, his own virtue. That was the source of his power and of his unshakable presence. In relationships, the same principle applies. Over-explaining is not a sign of love or commitment. It's a sign of fear. A fear that she won't accept you as you are. But the paradox is this: the more you chase approval, the less she truly values you. When you stop explaining yourself, the dynamic shifts. You reclaim your power. You show that your worth is not negotiable, and in doing so, you create mystery, intrigue, and respect. Ask yourself, how many times have you explained yourself to a woman only to feel your respect slipping away with every word? That is the validation trap. Recognizing it is the first step to escaping it. Comment below. Have you ever caught yourself explaining too much just to be accepted? Think about it. The moment you do less, you gain more. Chapter 2. Why women respect men who don't seek approval. There's a subtle law of attraction few men understand. Certainty commands respect. When a man no longer seeks approval, when he no longer asks for permission to exist or to be understood, something remarkable happens. Women notice, respect grows, curiosity sparks, desire awakens. Most men think attraction is about charm, gifts, or words, but the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. Women are naturally drawn to emotional stability. To men who stand firm, who know their worth, who do not bend under the weight of expectation. Think of the great leaders of history. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, taught that we should concern ourselves only with what we can control: our actions, our thoughts, our values, not the opinions of others. The same applies to relationships. A man who chases approval gives away control over his own emotions. A man who stands firm, however, keeps it. Imagine a man who no longer texts every day, no longer explains why he didn't call, no longer worries if she's upset. He's calm, centered, certain. That certainty feels like gravity to her. She subconsciously senses it. She begins to respect him not because he demands it, but because he embodies it. There is a psychology behind this. Scarcity and independence create value. When a man doesn't give away his emotional energy, when he doesn't act from fear of disapproval, he becomes rare, he becomes magnetic. And let's be clear, this is not arrogance, it is not coldness, it is not detachment from love, it is emotional mastery. A man who trusts his own worth, who does not need constant affirmation, becomes someone a woman cannot ignore. Consider the tales of warriors and kings. They did not win respect by pleading for it. They won it by standing their ground, living their purpose, and letting their actions speak. The same principle applies today. In relationships, in life, in love. When you stop explaining, she notices more than you think. She notices the calm in your eyes, the steadiness of your voice, the way you act without needing her permission. She notices the man who does not bend to please anyone, including her. This is the essence of attraction. She is drawn to certainty, stability, and presence, not desperation, not explanations. Ask yourself this: do you act from fear that she won't accept you? Or do you act from the quiet confidence of knowing your worth? The answer changes everything. The man who understands this does not compete for her attention. He does not explain. He does not justify. He simply lives in alignment with his values. And in that alignment, he becomes irresistible. Comment below, do you seek peace within or approval from others? This simple question separates the men who attract respect from the men who chase it in vain. Chapter 3. The moment everything changes. There comes a moment in every relationship where a shift occurs. Subtle, almost invisible at first, but undeniable. It's the moment she stops needing you to explain and starts feeling the weight of your presence. Most men never reach this point. They keep chasing validation, defending their actions, clarifying every misunderstanding. But the man who has mastered himself, the man who trusts his own worth, does not need to explain. He does not react to her expectations. He moves with calm authority. And in that calm, everything changes. Her perception of you transforms. She begins to see you differently, not because you said something clever or did something extraordinary, but because of who you are in that moment, grounded, self-assured, emotionally unshakable. Imagine a man walking into a room. His presence alone commands attention. He does not ask for approval. He does not seek validation. Yet every eye turns, every energy shifts. That is the power of emotional certainty. Psychologists call it scarcity, historians call it mastery, but we can call it natural respect. When a man no longer gives away his emotional energy, she feels it. She senses the boundaries he has set, the life he leads independently of her reactions. This is where the subtle magic happens. She may not consciously realize it at first. She may think, why is he so calm? Why does he not react? Why does he carry himself like nothing can touch him? The truth is simple. He is untouchable because he does not depend on her for his peace, his validation, or his worth. Consider the warriors of old. The soldiers who commanded armies did not plead for loyalty. They demonstrated strength, calm under pressure, unwavering discipline. People followed them not because they demanded it, but because they embodied it. The same principle applies to relationships. When you stop chasing her approval, you speak less, and your words carry more weight. You stop defending your worth, and she begins to notice it. You hold your boundaries, and she begins to respect them. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop trying, she starts wanting to understand you. The harder you try to prove yourself, the less compelling you are. The quieter you become, the more magnetic. She notices your absence. She notices your calm. She begins to invest emotionally because you are no longer available to chase, to bend, to explain. You've shifted from seeking validation to commanding respect through your presence alone. This is not manipulation. It is mastery. It is living by your own standards, anchored in your own worth. And when she feels it, everything changes. The dynamic, the energy, the attraction, all of it. Ask yourself this. Are you the man who pleads to be understood, or the man whose presence speaks louder than any explanation? The answer will define the relationships you attract and the respect you command. The shift happens not because of words, not because of actions designed to impress. It happens because you finally stop seeking approval and start living in alignment with your own value. Chapter 4. Living without needing her validation. By now you understand the law few men ever fully grasp. Your worth is not negotiable. Your peace, your confidence, your value, these are not hers to define. And the man who lives by this truth experiences a freedom few will ever know. Living without seeking her validation does not mean withdrawing from love. It does not mean coldness, arrogance, or emotional distance. It means alignment. Alignment with your principles, your purpose, your mission. Picture this: a man jogging alone on an empty road at sunrise, meditating quietly on a mountain peak, or training in silence at the gym. His focus is unwavering. His energy is reserved for what matters most: himself, his life, his goals. This is not selfishness, this is mastery. The truth is simple: women respect and desire men who live purposefully. A man who relies on her approval, who fears her disapproval, is unattractive. He becomes needy, unpredictable, and easily swayed. But a man who stands firm in his worth, who lives according to his own values, is magnetic. Stoic philosophy teaches that control over our own mind is the greatest power a man can possess. Marcus Aurelius wrote that external events are beyond our control, but how we respond to them defines our strength. In relationships, the same applies. You cannot control her feelings, her reactions, or her opinions, but you can control your own self-respect and emotional energy. When you build your life around your own purpose, you no longer need to explain, justify, or seek approval. Your presence becomes enough. Your calmness becomes attractive. Your independence becomes magnetic. And here's the ultimate truth: when she sees a man who is complete on his own, she does not chase him. She notices him, she respects him, she wants him, not because he begs for it, but because he does not need her approval to exist. This is the final lesson. Attraction, respect, and love are drawn to strength, certainty, and alignment. When you stop seeking validation, you stop being a reflection of her desires, and you become a full expression of your own power. So ask yourself, are you building a life that makes you proud? Are you living for her approval or for your own purpose? The man who chooses purpose over validation becomes unforgettable. He becomes magnetic. He becomes the kind of man history remembers, and the woman in his life can only follow the energy he already embodies. Do not mistake this path for coldness. It is not rejection. It is self-mastery. It is quiet authority. It is the masculine truth that men like Marcus Aurelius, Leonardo da Vinci, and countless warriors understood. Your worth is your own. Live in it fully, and the world and she will see